On a jagged cliff above the Atlantic, the lighthouse of Greymark Point blinked through roaring fog. Inside, its keeper, Elias Ward, logged another uneventful evening, marking tides and wind gusts in his worn leather journal. The silence between each crash of the waves was heavy, too heavy, as if the world itself had paused mid-breath. Elias had tended that light for 12 long years, alone but content. Yet lately, the beam behaved oddly, pulsing twice where it should sweep once, as though the sea were reflecting something back at it. To him, it felt like the structure itself was blinking, signaling in a language he could almost, but not quite, comprehend. That night, a slow, rhythmic tapping rose from beneath the metal floor grates. It was faint at first, like pebbles tossed by the wind, but soon it formed a deliberate pattern. Elias froze mid-step, his lantern flickering, and realized, it was tapping in time with his own heartbeat. He lifted the grating and revealed a hidden hatch he had never noticed before, its hinges mottled with rust and salt. A sickly draft rose from the darkness below, smelling of copper and ocean rot. Every instinct screamed to close it, but curiosity, that old sailor's curse, dragged him further in. Ascending by lantern, Elias found himself in a tunnel carved from bedrock, winding toward the sea. The air was cold and thick, shimmering faintly as if under invisible heat. Strange sigils, etched into the walls long before the lighthouse was built, glimmered whenever his light passed over them. He reached a chamber where seawater sloshed just inches from his boots. There, a round mirror, impossibly clean, stood propped against the rock. It reflected not his lined face, but the great beam above, spinning silently, even though it should not be visible from underground. Elias stepped closer, fighting the instinct to turn away. In the reflection, the room appeared brighter, newer, its walls freshly painted, the air free of decay. For a heartbeat, the figure in the mirror smiled before he did, its mouth twisting half a second too early. He stumbled back, slipping on wet stone. The lantern crashed and went out, plunging him into pitch blackness. Yet the mirror still glowed, illuminated by a moving light that didn't exist anywhere except in its surface. Voice echoed, soft as the tide, repeating his log entries, word for word. Every sentence he had written that week spilled from the shadows, overlapping as if spoken by hundreds of unseen mouths. Elias clutched his chest, pulse racing, because he could hear one entry he had not yet written. The unseen voice recited in detail his final moments, his discovery, and the exact words he'd later scrawl in panic. He backed toward the ladder, trembling, wanting to escape before that future could arrive. But the hatch above had sealed itself shut, metal teeth locking him below. The floor shifted, groaning like a ship's hull. Waves thundered outside, yet the air here remained still, a pocket disconnected from the storm. He lifted his lantern remains, using its faint ember to see that water was creeping lower, pulled toward the mirror like a tide running backward. From beyond the glass, another Elias stared back. This doppelganger's eyes were wide, mouth open in silent scream. When Elias reached forward, their hands met, but the cold against his fingertips wasn't glass, it was flesh. Blinding flash consumed the chamber. For one dizzying moment, Elias saw both worlds, the real and the reflected, superimposed like photographs misaligned. Then, his reflection stepped through, its features calm, movements confident, as if it had rehearsed this exchange countless times. The new Elias ascended the ladder, boots scraping against metal. The real one, if there still was such a thing, stumbled after it, shouting warnings that dissolved into fog. When he finally breached the surface, the lighthouse above was silent, the beam frozen mid-rotation. Outside, dawn had arrived, yet the horizon remained dark. The reflection of the sun shimmered on the waves, but above them hung a blank, colorless sky. Elias shielded his eyes, and noticed he cast no shadow across the deck. He rushed inside, seeking his journal. The pages were blank, devoid of ink marks, as if years of entries had been wiped clean. Then the pen in his hand moved on its own, scribbling the line, "The mirror has switched the lightkeeper." Panic overtook him, and he dashed up to the lamp room. The lens had changed shape, its glass panels spiraled inward in impossible geometry. With every rotation, the beam sliced reality open, revealing impossible visions of other times, other versions of himself tending lights that never existed. Outside, the fishermen at sea reported seeing two beams that night. One red, one white, both dancing across the waves like dueling serpents. Radio operators claimed for 11 minutes, all coastal transmissions began repeating themselves backward. When authorities finally arrived, they found the lighthouse door bolted from within. Every bulb in the tower had shattered simultaneously, their filaments melted into silver threads. In the control room, they discovered a single damp footprint leading nowhere. The officials listed Elias as missing, presumed drowned, like so many before him. But when they reviewed his weather journals, each page bore the same date, written over and over, November 12, 1949, the day Greymark Point was first built. Local divers who explored the shoreline later swore the tunnel beneath the lighthouse didn't exist. The bedrock was solid, unbroken. And yet, sonar scans kept returning a hollow echo, a resonance too symmetrical to be natural. Months later, a replacement keeper moved in, Harland Lowe, a man of sharp mind and steady hand. The villagers assured him the tales were nonsense. On his first night, however, he found a mirror propped behind the supply crates, still dripping salt water. Harland had never met Elias, but he recognized the name immediately, carved faintly on the mirror's frame. The glass shimmered faintly, displaying a reflection not of the storage room, but of the chamber far below, the one everyone insisted didn't exist. He called for backup via the radio. Static hissed, forming broken words in an unfamiliar voice. It was repeating Harland's name, syllable by syllable, until the line went dead with a sound like metal grinding underwater. By dawn's first light, the mirror was gone. Only a damp circle remained where it had stood. That same morning, fishermen reported a second light flickering from beneath the waves, deep and colorless, like an echo of the beam above. In the weeks that followed, Greymark Point's beam began skipping rhythm again, 2 sweeps instead of 1. Navigators noticed their compasses glitching, spinning as if magnetic north had fractured in 2. The maritime charts for that stretch of coast were quietly rewritten. Rumors spread of voices carried on foghorns at night, whispering in tones that matched Elias's original recordings. Locals began locking doors when fog rolled in, unwilling to glimpse what might now inhabit the light tower. Even the sea birds circled wide, refusing to land. Harland kept his post, obsessed with proving the story false. Yet the deeper he searched the archives, the stranger the records became. No blueprints, no construction logs, only fragments claiming the lighthouse had replaced an older structure that had fallen into the sea. Late one evening, while cleaning an old lens assembly, Harland glimpsed someone moving atop the cliffs below. The man looked identical to him, waving for help. When he leaned closer to see, the figure mirrored his motion perfectly, down to the tightening of his jaw. He locked himself inside, trembling. The radio flared alive, an old broadcast, announcing safe passage from Greymark Point dated 1 century earlier. Every word matched his own daily transmission, error for error, tone for tone. Moments later, the beam flickered red again. The storm outside rose to a scream, while the waves below churned in spiraling circles. Through them, Harland swore he saw a face staring upward from beneath the surf, pale and waiting. As the mirror's reflection of the lantern returned, bright, white, infinite, Harland understood. This light wasn't meant to guide ships home. It was meant to draw replacements, one by one, into the endless rotation of watchers and reflections. Report C. Some nights, the reflection seen on the water hesitates, delayed by exactly half a second. And in that heartbeat of lag, some claim to see 2 silhouettes in the lightroom, each watching the other, forever trapped between worlds. To this day, the lighthouse stands, its windows black, its door welded shut. Visitors say when they hold still long enough, they can hear tapping from beneath their feet, soft, rhythmic, persistent. As if someone below still keeps time with the ocean, waiting for his turn to surface. Perhaps the real glitch isn't in the tower or the mirror at all. Perhaps it's in our perception, of which side of the glass we inhabit. Somewhere beyond the beam's reach, the keeper is still watching, taking notes in a journal that writes itself.